Good morning. We're at Gwen's kitchen today, and today we're going to be making Grandma's homemade buns. You'll remember these, they're the best. So first of all, we start out with a half a cup of warm water. In that half a cup of warm water, we put either 3 packages of yeast or 3 tablespoons of yeast. Now, a little trick to get your yeast going, you put just a little bit of sugar, and that actually causes it to rise faster. Don't ask me how I know that or why, but actually Mom does it, so I do it. And I'm gonna say she probably learned that from Grandma. Okay, so then right now on the stove, I have 1.5 cups of milk. It has to scald. I'll show you what scald is in a second. This is a nice Tupperware bowl. Set of 3 is for $30. I recommend it. Anyways, in the Tupperware bowl, in the meantime, you put 2 cups of cold water. And you put cold water in there because you want your milk mixture to cool down right away. And it's almost scalding, so it will be just a minute. Now, in the milk, we will be putting a half a cup of butter or margarine. I never use margarine, but I'm a butter fan. My mom's a margarine fan, so either or works. Then you put in that a half a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of salt. Okay, this is almost ready to scald. You see it's starting to crawl up on the sides of the pan. In a second, it's gonna crawl all the way up. And that is when you have to be very careful that you watch the stove, otherwise you will have a mess. But it's very important that it scalds. See, crawling up the sides of the pan, and it's gonna go really fast, just like that. Woo! And look at that. I wasn't too good today. I didn't have my butter ready. Normally I have my butter all ready, and my butter goes right into the pan, immediately cooling it down. Then you turn off your stove, and you just let it kind of like be on there so that and also in this mixture goes our tablespoon of salt and the half a cup of sugar. So you just let the butter melt, and when it's done melting, it will go over in our pot. So that's what we do right here. That would be your next step, the scalding of the butter, or the scalding of the milk. Hopefully you don't boil it over like I did. That makes a terrible mess on your stove, as I'm sure you can maybe see in the pictures. So sometimes is what I do is I just let the butter float over to the sides of the pan here and just help it melt a little bit faster, because, well, sometimes I'm crunched for time. So we're gonna go next, then we're gonna take this over and we're gonna put this right in our cold water that I have sitting over there in the big thing. Okay, so here I'm pouring in my mixture that I just got off of the stove, the hot butter mixture. And now to that I add 4 cups of flour. You just take the 1 cup and just shake it off until it gets to the level. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Now you take your beaters and you want to beat this mixture. Now you add 3 eggs. And you don't want to add eggshells, so you want to be careful. Eggshells are not fun in bread because you will be able to taste them later. Which, guess what? I added 3 eggshells, so you have to fish them out. Actually, one of the kids helped the eggs fall off the counter last night, and well, we had a bigger one. Okay, you got the 3 eggs added. Then you want to whip these up really good in there. Okay, you got your 3 eggs in there. And then is what I do is you see the yeast, how much it has rose up. So now it's like over a cup. And you only had a half of a cup in there. That's how much it will rise up. So we put this in. And actually, my mom says it's better to fold this in. However, I don't always fold it in. I just a lot of times uses the beaters, it doesn't matter, but this has got to be, mixed in here real well. So now we're going to start adding the other cups of flour. We already, had 4 cups of flour. Now we have to add to this mixture. You see there's no lumps, there's no nothing. Now we add to this mixture 4 to 6 cups of flour. Then we use our wooden spoon to mix it up. So here we go. So now we have 4 cups. So we just take this. You have to mix it up till it gets all good and mixed up. This is also the recipe that you can use to make cinnamon rolls. I won't be making cinnamon rolls today because we're having a birthday party and we need the extra buns. My mom makes almost double this recipe when she makes them. So you see this is still too soupy. Can't even think about kneading it. So you just have that extra flour next to you and you just add a little at a time. You add it until it gets to be the enough consistency for you to be able to knead it. You can re-scrape the bowl. Because you have to knead this until it's elastic, and I will show you what it means to be elastic. Actually, it's basically when you're kneading it, it's no longer sticking to your fingers. And the elasticity is certain amount. I will show you that. So then I'm just going to put a little bit more flour. I'm going to have another cup here ready, just in case I need it. So now I'm going to knead this for you. And how you do it is you pull the bottom up and then you just start turning it over. And the bowl will roll, that's fine. You can see that it's still sticky. See how it's still sticky? Sticking to my hands? That means it needs more flour. Hey Emily, do you think you could go get Mommy the stool out of the bathroom, please?
For what?
See, still sticky. So you still have to add more flour. If it's sticking to your hands and you're wondering, man, when is this gonna not be sticky? Well, a little bit more flour and it turns not to be sticky. And I'm so short that I need to have a stool to finish this up. Or I can't get up here and really get this good. I normally take it over to my kitchen table because you really want to be able, see how this is now turning nice? You gotta knead it till all the flour in your bowl is all kneaded in. Now I'm gonna go like this because that was sticking from before, so I just roll it off of my hands like this, put it back in the bowl with the other stuff. Now I'm going to just finish kneading it. You should be able to knead it if it's sticking right here on your palms. When you're kneading it, that means just a tad more flour. Because when you're kneading it, it should not stick to any part of your hand when you turn it over. See how I'm pulling it up and turning it over? I pull it up in the middle, flip it over. Yes, you get a workout, that's for sure. My mom would do this every week. You keep turning it over, keep turning it over. There's still a little left in the bottom of my bowl, so I'm just trying to get out the... See, I'm turning it over and it's not sticking to my hands, except right there. That means a tad more flour, and this is the last time we'll need it. I can tell you that much right now. So you just want to keep adding just a little flour, a little flour. Okay, so this is what the dough is going to look like. See, when I touch it on the outside, it doesn't stick. All right, so I have a little butter and I have my lid. You just put this butter on the top of your lid. Why? Because when this raises up, you don't want it sticking. So you take out your nice big pot of dough. You can dump out any excess flour that might be in the bottom of the bowl. And then what you do is you take some butter and you butter the inside of your bowl, just like this. And you do this so that it doesn't stick, because when it raises up, it's going to get to a different elasticity, of course, because it's expanding. So you don't want it sticking to your bowl. You want to be able to get it out. So you just make sure that your bowl is buttered really good. Flip it back in there. Then you seal the cover. Now, you have to let this rise. It rises maybe an hour. We'll pop the top. When the lid pops, we'll come back and we'll punch it down. That will be the next step. Okay, so you see our lid has popped. Take your thing, you just punch it down like this. Scrape the sides. Flip it over. Cover goes back on. The next time it pops, we'll be forming buns. Okay, pop the lid again, we're ready to make buns. I put a little dab of butter on my fingers so that otherwise the bun's gonna stick, so that it's like this. Take your knife, cut about, approximately that much off. Now you roll it under like this, pat it around in a circle, and this is gonna make a smaller size bun. Let me show you. Take a little bit more dough, about like that. You want a bigger size bun. Same thing, you roll it under, pat it around, just like that. Now the kind of pans that I'm using are more like heavy duty pans that, well, Grandma had them, Mom has them, I have them, I'm sure your mom has them. You can find them at like any store that carries professional baking supplies, like restaurant. They're the nice thick pans, and they make everything beautiful. Cookies, buns, whatever you use them for. And sometimes we make them cookie sheet brownies on these things. They are wonderful. They normally never burn, and they always cook very even. So that is a very big important. Of course, you get better. The more you do these, the better you become. I was not so good the first time I did them. So if you're not so good the first time you do them, don't worry. It gets better with time. Now these go in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. But first of all, after we're done with forming them and putting them on the pan, now my fingers are getting a little sticky. And on a pan like this, we do 12 buns. On a pan like this, so when your fingers get sticky, you just have to dab them in the butter. So I always keep an open butter right beside me. After we're done, I use clean dish towels, and then we just drape the dish towel over them. They have to sit out and let rise. And it's about a half an hour if you've got a normal room temperature house. If your house is cooler, of course they won't rise as well, and nor as fast. I mean, they'll still rise, just not as fast. Of course, like I said, my mother is really the expert. Her buns are always the same size and always perfect. Mine, on the other hand, not always perfect, not always the same size. But however, they taste the same and everybody loves them just the same. So now here's the last one. Obviously this batch here in this bowl, the amount of ingredients I have given to you will make about, well, 3 to 4 pans depending on the size. So I just take a normal dish towel, cover it up like that, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're raised in about a half an hour, because they'll raise even more when they get in the oven. Okay, it's been about a half an hour, and this is about how they raise. Now they're going in the oven for 20 minutes. All right, they're out of the oven. As what you do is you take some butter and you just do the tops like this. Just like that. Then you put a little bit of wax paper on top and cover it up. And we'll see if the guys can wait to actually eat them.